Now, he said, and all this extra money, we can go ahead and give it to you. This is what Simon the Benjaminite is saying, because he couldn't get his way with Onias. Go ahead. Verse 7. Now when Apollonius came to the king, and had showed him of the money whereof he was told. In other words, Apollonius took the report to Seleucus IV, whose surname was Philopator. Go ahead, the successor of the successor of Antiochus III, or Antiochus the Great. Go ahead. The king chose out Heliodorus, his treasurer. Now, the treasurer of now this is better. Now we're not going to read all. Let me say this. Let me do this before this thing begins. We can advance too far in it. For the whole story, you have to read on your own. 2 Maccabees, chapter 3 and chapter 4. All right? Now what it tells you, we're going to go to the end to show you. When Heliodorus, the treasurer of Seleucus Philopator, got sent to Jerusalem, brother, the Israelites prayed, and that's what the Most High did. The Most High had two angels, it said, clothed in fine apparel, meet him and beat the hell out of him. It said they beat him so bad, Israel had to pray that they didn't kill him, because the king would have thought that the Israelites killed the treasure. Imagine that, you get a report that you're being stiffed for some money. You send your treasure down, and he popped up dead, bludgeoned to death. So the Most High wasn't trying to set Israel up to have a burden that was worse on him. But when we read, it's going to tell you, it says two men in fine apparel did what? It says they beat him, it says literally within an inch of his life. Right? It said then Israel prayed, the Onias prayed for him, and the Most High healed him, and he went back and told the king, listen, if you got any enemies that you want, send them to Jerusalem, because there is a God that watches over that place. But now, when you go and you read conventional history, Heliodorus went back and killed Seleucus and took the kingdom and took the northern kingdom. And it was Antiochus Epiphanes who killed him. Anyway, we'll get to that, and that's all a part of Daniel chapter 11. What I'm trying to do is so that the particular series that you're watching now doesn't get so mundane with, you know what I'm saying, just constant reading that you can't do on your own. This is what this is about. This is not about being spoon-fed. Here's your Gerber's. Here, this is not about being spoon-fed. It's about us sharing information with you and directing you so that you can go know it for yourself. So, what we're reading is when it says in verse 20 of Daniel 11, then will stand up in his stead. Did he stand up in the place of Antiochus the Great? It said it would stand up a raise of taxes. The circumstance with Antiochus the Great, I will explain to you why it was a need that his successor would have to raise taxes. Now, in the meantime, let me say this while it's with me. So you got Antiochus Epiphanes right now, who is the fourth, who is in Rome behind a debt that his father had to pay. But his father just what? His father just got killed. So Seleucus is, I'm going to tell you what happened, because you're not going to find it. You will find it here also, but we just don't, you can't just do all of it. Seleucus, now that Seleucus was the king, guess what happened? The Romans wanted his successor. So Antiochus the fourth got released, and Seleucus' older son, Demetrius I, whose surname was Solon, got sent up. Got sent to Rome because it fell on who? It fell on Seleucus. Careful. It fell on Seleucus to do what? To pay up this war indemnity on behalf of the Seleucid Empire. Hope I'm not moving too fast. We'll explain it one more time. The reason this person is referred to as the raiser of taxes is because his father was put under a war indemnity. In other words, he had to pay a reimbursement to Rome for his campaigns against the Ptolemaic Empire that interfered with the wheat and rice and grains that were being sent to Rome, to Italy. So in order to spare Antiochus' life, the Romans wanted their money. They let Antiochus the Great live. They took his oldest, or not his oldest, but his son, selected son, hostage as a sense of collateral. And then Antiochus, in his last campaign to Luristan, Persia, did what? Raided the temple, got put to death, and his son, who was free, which was Seleucus the fourth, whose surname was Philippe, ended up, it fell on him to pay this. So this is what we're reading. 2 Maccabees, chapter 3 and 4 tells you what happened. So, can you read verse 7?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is 2 Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 7.
Go ahead.
Now when Apollonius came to the king and had showed him of the money whereof he was told.
No, he gave him a report. Go ahead.
The king chose out Heliodorus, his treasurer, and sent him with a commandment to bring him the aforesaid money.
Now remember, this money didn't exist. So it's like Heliodorus also got set the hell up. You know what I'm saying? Simon the Benjamite set up Onias, and then by virtue of that, Apollonius ended up getting Heliodorus set up for Asher, for he'll never forget. Go ahead.
Verse 8. So forthwith Heliodorus took his journey. Undercover visited the city of Seleucia and Venice, but indeed to fulfill the king's purpose.
Go ahead.
And when he was come to Jerusalem and had been courteously received.
No, the people of Jerusalem entreated the treasurer of the king hospitably. Go ahead.
And when he was come to Jerusalem and had been courteously received of the high priest of the city,
Onias, go ahead.
He told him what intelligence was given of the money.
In other words, he said, I got an intelligence report about all this money you got. Go ahead.
And declared wherefore he came, and asked if these things were so indeed.
He said, this is why I'm here. I'm here to get this money. Are these things true? Verse 10.
Then the high priest told him that there was such money laid up for the relief of widows and fatherless children.
So he let him know the money that this guy lied about. He said the extra money that we have really is for what? It was for widows. What did it say then? The high priest told him that there was such money laid up for the relief of widows and fatherless children. In other words, it wasn't infinite sums. Okay? No, it shows you our people we took care of today. Now listen, they were called it welfare, but that was our form of social assistance. We did bear the responsibility of those. And today we call them people parasites. You understand? But they're not parasites. You got people, who does a child depend on for his sustenance but his father? Who does a widow depend on for his sustenance but her husband that is not deceased? So these things were taken care of by the temple. And the temple was provided for by all the inhabitants of the land. You know, the Most High referred to it as tithes, free will offerings, and alms. All right? Now, this is what you do. We're going to jump down to verse 24. I want you to read verse 23. So we now listen. We're reading about the raise of taxes. This is all of this so far is corresponding to Daniel chapter 11 and simply verse 20. This is the raise of taxes. Now the person that's actually collecting the taxes is not talking about him. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 23.
Verse 23, right.
Nevertheless, Heliodorus executed that which was decreed.
In other words, when you read from verses 11 all the way down to verse 22, it lets you know how the Israelites fasted and prayed, and they were asking the Most High to deliver them. But in spite of the fact that they were begging Heliodorus, the treasurer of King Seleucus Philippe IV, Heliodorus was going to continue through. All he found out that it wasn't infinite sums of money, and that the money that was other than was used for the extra money that wasn't used for the sacrifice was used for the relief of the fatherless and the widows. In other words, the orphan and the widows. Go ahead. Nevertheless, Heliodorus executed that which was decreed. Go ahead.
Verse 24. Now as he was there present himself with his guard by the treasury.
In other words, he was there with himself in the place where the money was kept, the treasury. Go ahead.
The Lord of spirits,
talking about the Most High,
and the Prince